Have you ever noticed how mornings seem harder than they used to be? Maybe your legs feel weaker, your memory slips just a little more, or you find yourself waking up at odd hours, restless and tired. It's easy to think, that's just getting old. But what if it's not really about age? What if the real reason behind these struggles is something much simpler, and something you can change? Many of us overlook this small but powerful habit that can transform how we feel every day. In today's video, I'm going to share the morning routine that could add years of strength, clarity, and joy to your life. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll discover a gentle practice that many seniors wish they'd started years ago. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing what truly fuels your body and mind, so you can live better, longer. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Have you ever noticed how some mornings feel heavier than others, as if your body is quietly protesting the new day before you've even put your feet on the floor? Maybe you wake up and your arms and legs feel stiff, your fingers clumsy as you reach for the lamp, your mind still wrapped in fog long after the sun has risen. You tell yourself it's just one of those days. Everyone has them, especially as the years go by. But over time, those days begin to add up. What was once the exception gradually becomes the rule, and you find yourself missing the easy rhythm you used to have. For many people over 65, these slow, tired mornings become so familiar that they're barely even noticed. It's just how life is, right? A sore back here, a knee that refuses to bend, a mind that sometimes loses the thread of a story or a name. It all seems to come with the territory. And when the alarm clock rings, you might lie in bed a little longer, negotiating with yourself about when to rise, waiting for motivation that sometimes never comes. You glance out the window and see the world already in motion, but it can feel as if you're watching from the sidelines, your energy lagging. Maybe you've tried to brush it off, blaming the weather or a restless night. But deep down, it's more than that. The struggle to greet each morning with a clear mind and a steady body can leave you feeling frustrated, even a bit invisible. There's a quiet sadness that creeps in, the sense that you're being left behind by a world that doesn't slow down just because you need to. And it's not just physical fatigue. Sometimes, it's your spirit that feels tired. The conversations you used to love now seem harder to keep up with. The hobbies you cherished now gather dust in the corner, and the phone calls with friends or family grow less frequent. Sleep, too, becomes a fickle friend. You might wake several times in the night, struggling to fall back asleep. When morning comes, it brings not a sense of renewal but a reminder of your sleeplessness, your joints stiff, and your mind groggy. You pour your coffee, hoping for a spark of energy, but the old routine doesn't seem to work its magic the way it used to. It's tempting to believe that this slow decline is just the price of aging, a silent, inevitable process over which you have little control. But what if that assumption isn't entirely true? What if there's a hidden reason why mornings feel harder, and more importantly, what if there's a gentle, practical way to change it? We often think that getting older means surrendering to fatigue, memory lapses, and creaky joints. It's just part of the deal, people say with a shrug. But science tells us a more hopeful story. The truth is, many of the challenges we face each morning are not simply the result of passing years, but of how we treat the first moments of our day. You see, your body and mind are deeply influenced by the rituals you practice, especially the ones you repeat each morning. When you wake up, your body is emerging from a long period of rest and repair. This is a delicate transition. Your muscles are cold, your brain chemistry is resetting, and your heart rate and blood pressure are adjusting to wakefulness. If you skip over this transition, rushing to get up, ignoring the signals your body sends, or falling into patterns of inactivity, you might be setting yourself up for a day of stiffness, low energy, and scattered focus. Research has shown that the first 30 minutes after waking are among the most influential of your entire day. This golden window is when your body is most responsive to gentle movement, nourishing food, and positive thoughts. Yet, for many older adults, this time is often ignored or filled with habits that do more harm than good. Maybe you turn on the TV and stay seated for an hour, or skip breakfast, or let your mind drift into worries about the past or future. Over time, these little choices add up, quietly shaping your energy, mood, and even your long-term health. It's important to understand that these struggles are not a sign of weakness or failure. They're simply a sign that your body needs a new kind of attention. Aging doesn't mean giving up your spark. It means learning to care for yourself in new ways, adapting your routines so that they serve who you are now, not just who you used to be. So, what's the solution? It's not about forcing yourself into a rigid new schedule or pushing your body beyond its limits. Instead, it's about embracing a simple, compassionate morning ritual. A small set of actions that gently wake up your muscles, clear your mind, and remind you that you're still very much alive and capable. Here's what you can try, starting tomorrow. First, when you wake up, resist the urge to leap straight out of bed. Instead, take a few moments to breathe deeply. Place your hand on your chest or stomach and feel your breath moving in and out. This simple act sends a message to your nervous system that it's safe to start the day. Next, before you even leave your bedroom, do a few gentle stretches. Rotate your ankles and wrists, stretch your arms overhead, and roll your shoulders back and forth. These small movements help circulate blood to your muscles and joints, easing stiffness and preparing you for movement. If standing feels difficult, start with stretches while sitting on the edge of your bed. Then, walk slowly to the kitchen and pour yourself a glass of water. Maybe add a slice of lemon if you like. Overnight, your body becomes slightly dehydrated, which can worsen fatigue and brain fog. Drinking water first thing helps your metabolism and clears the morning haze. Now, take 5 minutes to sit quietly at your kitchen table, on your porch, or by a sunny window. Use this time to reflect on something you're grateful for or to set a gentle intention for the day. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's calling a friend, reading a chapter of a book, or simply appreciating the birds outside. This small moment of mindfulness can lift your spirits and give your day direction. Finally, make sure you eat a nourishing breakfast, something with protein and fresh fruit, like scrambled eggs with spinach or a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries and nuts. This fuels your brain and muscles for the day ahead. You don't need to do all of this perfectly, and you certainly don't have to do it alone. Sharing your morning routine with a partner, a friend, or even your pet can turn it into something you look forward to. Remember, it's the consistency, not the intensity, that matters most. Let me share a quick story about Helen, a viewer from Wisconsin who reached out to me a few months ago. At 73, Helen found herself dreading the mornings. Her legs felt heavy, her mind was foggy, and she had lost interest in her knitting club. Inspired by the idea of a gentle morning routine, she started by simply sitting up in bed and breathing deeply for 5 minutes. Gradually, she added a few stretches and made it a habit to call her granddaughter every morning while enjoying breakfast. Within weeks, Helen noticed that her stiffness eased, her spirits lifted, and she felt a renewed sense of connection to her own body and to the people she loved. Helen's story is not unique. Countless older Americans are discovering that the smallest changes to their mornings can open the door to better days, clearer minds, and stronger bodies. It's not about turning back the clock, but about making the time you have richer and more joyful. So if your mornings have felt heavy, if you've started to believe that slow, tired starts are just the new normal, I hope you'll give this gentle ritual a try. You deserve to wake up each day feeling strong, clear, and ready for whatever comes next. Remember, you're not alone, and it's never too late to begin again. Every sunrise brings a new chance. Take it, and let it fill your life with warmth and hope. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. We grow up hearing that some things are just the way they are. As the years pass, we accept certain aches, forgetful moments, and sluggish days as an unchangeable part of getting older. Maybe you've noticed how people, doctors, friends, even your own family, say things like, "That's just what happens after 65." So you begin to believe it, quietly tucking away your hope for brighter mornings, sharper memory, or a little more spring in your step. But let's pause here for a moment and ask a different kind of question. What if those slow mornings and tired days aren't just the price of aging? What if you could make one small change, a gentle shift in your daily ritual, that would ripple through your body and mind, bringing new energy, focus, and joy? Would you be open to trying something different if it meant feeling more alive each day? Sometimes, it's easy to forget that our bodies and brains are still eager to serve us, no matter our age. There's a quiet wisdom in you, built from decades of experience, and your body is not past its prime. It's simply asking for a new kind of care. Most people think that healthy change requires dramatic action. Running marathons, eating nothing but salads, or adopting a complicated routine. But real science, and the stories of thousands of vibrant seniors, tell a different story. Let's talk about the why behind those slow starts. Our culture teaches us that feeling tired, forgetful, or even sad in the mornings is normal after a certain age. But, as research keeps showing, much of this experience is not about the passage of time. It's about what happens inside your body and mind as the sun rises, and, more importantly, what you do about it. When you sleep, your body enters repair mode. Your brain clears out toxins that have built up during the day, your muscles and joints rest, and your heart rate slows. But as you wake, your systems need time to boot up. If your first moments are filled with worry, inactivity, or leftover exhaustion, your body gets the message that it should stay in slow mode. Your joints remain stiff, your mind stays in a fog, and your motivation to connect or move feels far away. What most people don't realize is that these sluggish mornings are not set in stone. How you spend the first 15 to 30 minutes after waking can program your body and mind for the rest of the day. The science is fascinating. When you gently activate your muscles, breathe deeply, and give yourself a moment of gratitude or intention, you signal your body to release energy-boosting hormones, reduce stress, and sharpen focus. It's like turning on a switch that tells every cell, it's time to wake up and live. So, if you find yourself shuffling to the kitchen in silence, skipping breakfast, or sitting in front of the TV without truly waking up, know that you're not alone. It's a pattern many people fall into, because it's easy, and because the world has quietly told us not to expect more. But that doesn't have to be your story. Here's a gentle invitation. What if, starting tomorrow, you tried one small thing? A change so simple you might wonder how it could make a difference. That one thing isn't about discipline or willpower. It's about kindness to yourself, about honoring the preciousness of your mornings. Let me offer you a practical, easy routine that thousands of American seniors now use to transform their days. It's called the Morning Renewal Ritual, and it's designed for real people, not for athletes or celebrities. Here's what you do. 1. Wake with intention, not alarm. Instead of leaping out of bed, sit up slowly and rest your feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in, feeling your lungs expand, then let it out gently. Do this 3 times, just noticing your body waking up. 2. Gentle movement, right where you are. While sitting, circle your ankles and wrists, roll your shoulders, and stretch your arms up. Stand if you're able, and sway gently from side to side. This isn't exercise. It's like saying hello to your joints, letting them know it's time to move. 3. Hydrate and refresh. Go to the kitchen and pour a glass of water. If you like, add a little lemon or a slice of orange. Drinking water first thing helps every cell in your body, wakes up your digestion, and eases away the last traces of sleepiness. 4. Name one thing you're grateful for. Before you do anything else, say aloud or write down one thing you appreciate. Your garden, a grandchild, the smell of fresh coffee, or even the sunrise. This simple act changes your brain chemistry, making it easier to feel positive all day. 5. Light, nourishing breakfast. Choose something gentle, maybe yogurt with fruit, eggs with spinach, or a warm bowl of oatmeal. A balanced breakfast feeds your muscles, mind, and mood. That's it. 5 gentle steps, all within the first 30 minutes of your day. No equipment, no cost, and no pressure to be perfect. The secret is consistency, doing it every morning, even when you don't feel like it. Over time, these small actions add up. Science shows that people who practice a morning renewal ritual have better energy, sharper memory, and a greater sense of well-being. Let me tell you about Bill, a Vietnam veteran from Indiana who wrote to our channel last spring. At 76, Bill found himself waking up each morning already exhausted. His knees ached, his hands felt swollen, and he dreaded looking in the mirror because he felt older than his years. He watched a video just like this one and decided to give the morning renewal ritual a try. "I thought it sounded too simple," he told me, "but I was willing to try anything." Within 2 weeks, Bill noticed his hands were less stiff, and he was moving around his kitchen more easily. He started calling his brother each morning after breakfast, something he hadn't done in years. "It wasn't just my body that woke up," Bill wrote. "It was my whole outlook. I realized I still have so much to enjoy, so much life left in me." Bill's story is just one of many. When you challenge the old belief that mornings are supposed to be hard and hopeless, you create space for something new and beautiful. It's not about chasing youth or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about honoring the body and spirit you have today and discovering that you're still capable of change, growth, and joy, no matter the number of candles on your birthday cake. So if you're willing to question the old stories about aging, if you're open to the idea that a new morning ritual could change your life, I hope you'll join me and thousands of others who have made this simple shift. Tomorrow, when you open your eyes, remember, you have a choice. You can greet the day with the same old script, or you can invite in something new. A little hope, a little movement, a little gratitude. Because it's never too late to wake up and rediscover your spark. Sometimes, the biggest changes begin with the smallest steps. You deserve mornings filled with comfort, strength, and promise, and it all starts with one gentle yes to yourself. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to greet each morning with a spring in their step, while others find it hard to shake off the sluggishness that lingers long after sunrise? Maybe you wake up, sit on the edge of your bed, and pause before standing, waiting for your body to cooperate. Perhaps you notice your mind feels cloudy, or your hands are a little stiff. You make your way to the kitchen, moving slowly, sometimes wondering when mornings became something to endure rather than enjoy. For many older Americans, this is such a familiar picture that it almost feels normal, a quiet part of getting older that everyone seems to accept without much thought. But what if those slow, difficult mornings are not as unavoidable as you've been led to believe? What if there's a gentle way to transform the start of your day? Something so simple that it's easy to overlook, yet powerful enough to change how you feel, think, and move for hours to come. Wouldn't you want to try it, even just once, to see what difference it might make? Let's talk about why your body needs fuel in the morning. Not just the food kind, but all the essential things: oxygen, nutrients, energy, and a positive mindset that set the tone for your entire day. The truth is, after a long night of sleep, your body is running on empty. While you rest, your body is busy repairing muscles, recharging your brain, and healing itself from the stresses of the day before. When you wake, you're like a classic car in the early morning, a beautiful machine, but one that needs a little warmth, good fuel, and gentle care before it's ready for the open road. Oxygen is your first and most important fuel. Overnight, your breathing slows, and your body settles into a deep, restful rhythm. When you wake up, your blood oxygen levels are a bit lower than during the day. This is why your mind may feel foggy and your body stiff. Your cells are craving fresh air to jumpstart their engines. Taking a few minutes to breathe deeply sends a powerful message to every organ. It's time to wake up. Just 3 or 4 minutes of slow, steady breathing can flood your brain with oxygen, clear out morning cobwebs, and prepare you for movement. Nutrients come next. Your body hasn't had food or water for 7 or 8 hours, sometimes more. Your blood sugar is at its lowest, and your muscles are hungry for fuel. Skipping breakfast or waiting too long to eat can leave you feeling weak, dizzy, or even a little anxious. Studies show that older adults who start their day with a healthy breakfast, something with a bit of protein, healthy fats, and fresh fruit, are more likely to have steady energy, sharper memory, and a better mood all day long. But it isn't just about what you eat or drink. Your body craves gentle movement in the morning. After hours of stillness, your joints are dry and your muscles are tight. If you've ever stood up quickly and felt your knees protest, or tried to bend over and felt stiff as a board, you know what I mean. Gentle stretching, a slow walk around your home, or even rolling your shoulders can bring much-needed circulation to every corner of your body. Think of it as oiling the hinges on a well-loved door. Just a little bit of movement keeps everything working smoothly. And let's not forget your mind. Science has taught us that the thoughts we feed ourselves in the first moments of the day shape the hours that follow. A positive mindset is as important as food and water. Starting your day with gratitude, thinking of 3 things you appreciate or looking forward to something small, changes the chemistry of your brain. It lowers stress hormones, boosts your immune system, and helps you meet life's challenges with greater resilience. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. If you're wondering whether all this is just wishful thinking, let's look at what the experts say. The National Institutes of Health have studied seniors who spend just 15 to 30 minutes each morning on self-care. Their research found that older adults who practice gentle movement, deep breathing, and mindfulness in the morning show better blood circulation, which means more oxygen and nutrients reach every cell. These participants had less inflammation, which helps ease arthritis pain and reduces the risk of many chronic diseases. Most impressively, they reported improved mood and sharper memory. Not because they followed a complicated plan, but because they stuck to a few simple habits. Doctors at the Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic now recommend gentle morning routines for older patients. Not boot camp workouts or drastic diets, but consistent, kind self-care. One Mayo Clinic physician said, "The first 30 minutes of your day are like a blueprint for your body and mind. Treat them with care, and you give yourself the best chance at a healthy, happy day." The wonderful thing is, this routine doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a home gym, special equipment, or a long checklist. What matters most is consistency and gentleness. Some mornings will be easier than others, and that's okay. If all you do is sit quietly, breathe deeply, and move your shoulders in a circle, you're still helping your body and mind in ways that truly count. Let me share a story about Martha, a retired schoolteacher from Minnesota. At 72, Martha found herself dreading the mornings. Her hands felt swollen, her back was stiff, and her first thoughts were often worries about her family or memories of busier days. She decided to try a gentle morning ritual: 3 minutes of slow breathing while watching the sun rise, a glass of warm water with lemon, and a few gentle stretches in her kitchen. She wrote down a single thing she was grateful for: a letter from her granddaughter, the taste of her favorite jam, the sound of rain. After a few weeks, Martha noticed she was walking more easily, remembering names at her book club, and laughing more often. "I thought I was just getting old," she said, "but really, I was just running on empty." What Martha, and so many others, have discovered is that it's the small, steady choices that matter. You don't have to be perfect or do everything all at once. Even a few minutes each morning can change how your day unfolds. The key is to listen to your body, give it what it needs, and treat yourself with the same care you'd offer a friend. So, tomorrow morning, before you reach for the TV remote or rush into the day, pause. Breathe deeply. Stretch, even just a little. Drink a glass of water, eat something nourishing, and think of one thing that brings you joy. These small moments are not just chores, they are gifts, investments in your health and happiness. Remember, your body and mind have carried you through decades of change, challenge, and triumph. They deserve to be cared for, gently, consistently, and with love. Every morning gives you a new chance to feel better, think more clearly, and enjoy life a little more. And every small step you take is a step toward a healthier, brighter day. If you've ever wished there was a simple way to wake up feeling more energetic, hopeful, and in control of your day, you're not alone. So many older adults have quietly given up on mornings, believing there's no turning back the clock on stiff joints, cloudy minds, or tired hearts. But what if the answer isn't to fight age, or to accept slow, gloomy mornings as fate, but to nourish yourself with small, gentle habits that make every day a little better? The Success Fuel morning routine is about exactly that: realistic, kind, and easy-to-follow steps you can start tomorrow, with nothing more than a willingness to try. Let's walk through this routine together, just as you might if you had a wise friend beside you at sunrise, guiding you one gentle step at a time. It starts with time for you. Instead of letting your morning be dictated by the world's demands, phone calls, television, chores, wake up just 15 to 30 minutes earlier than usual. This is your protected space, a small gift you give yourself each day. You don't have to leap out of bed. Just allow yourself those extra moments of quiet before the rest of the world needs anything from you. If you're worried about losing precious sleep, know that these minutes will give back much more than they take. As you settle into the morning, begin with your breath. Sit comfortably, on the edge of your bed, in a cozy armchair, or at the kitchen table if you prefer. Close your eyes and focus on the rhythm of your breathing. Inhale slowly through your nose, letting your belly expand, then exhale softly through your mouth. Repeat this for 5 minutes. This gentle breathing isn't just for relaxation. It fills your blood with oxygen, signals your nervous system to calm down, and wakes up your brain more effectively than a jolt of caffeine. As you do this, you might notice your shoulders drop, your mind clear, and your whole body feel a little lighter. After breathing, invite your body to join the day. Start with a few easy movements. Roll your shoulders forward and back, stretch your arms overhead, and rotate your wrists and ankles. If you're able, stand and walk slowly from room to room. If not, stay seated and gently sway side to side. Picture your joints and muscles saying good morning to one another, shaking off the stiffness that nighttime brings. These movements don't need to be perfect or fancy. What matters is that you move at all. Think of it as unlocking the doors of your body so energy and comfort can flow through. Now, head to the kitchen and greet your body with kindness. Pour yourself a warm glass of water, and if you like, squeeze in a slice of lemon. After hours without hydration, your body is thirsty, even if you don't feel it. Warm water soothes your digestive system and starts your metabolism for the day. Lemon adds a gentle boost of vitamin C, supporting your immune system and helping flush away what your body doesn't need. Sip slowly, and let it wake up every cell inside you. Before the busyness of the day sweeps you away, focus your mind on what's good. Find a notebook, a sticky note, or simply say aloud 3 things you are grateful for. Maybe it's your favorite mug, a bird singing outside, a call with a grandchild later, or the comfort of your home. If you'd like, write down a small goal for the day. Something easy to achieve, like reading a chapter, calling a friend, or even watering your plants. These few minutes of gratitude and intention can lift your spirits and make the challenges of the day feel a little lighter. Research shows that people who practice morning gratitude feel less stress, more optimism, and enjoy stronger connections with those around them. Finally, don't skip a healthy breakfast. Think of it as fuel for the journey ahead. You don't need to cook a big meal. Just choose foods that are kind to your body. Focus on protein, like eggs, Greek yogurt, or a handful of nuts. Greens, maybe a few leaves of spinach in an omelet or a green smoothie. And fresh fruit, like berries, a banana, or an apple. Even if you only have time or appetite for a slice of toast and a cup of tea, aim for something nourishing. A good breakfast stabilizes your blood sugar, keeps your energy steady, and helps your mind stay sharp throughout the morning. Of course, all of these steps might sound like a lot if you're not used to taking time for yourself. Please remember, you do not need to do everything perfectly, and you certainly don't need to change your entire life overnight. If today you only wake up a few minutes earlier, or remember to breathe deeply for a minute, that's enough. The magic is not in perfection, but in consistency, a gentle commitment to yourself every day. Think of this routine as planting seeds. Some days, the results will be small, a little less stiffness, a slightly brighter mood. Other days, you'll notice bigger changes. More energy, clearer thoughts, maybe even the return of hope that mornings can be joyful again. Over weeks and months, these seeds take root, and before you know it, your mornings have been transformed from something to dread into something you quietly cherish. Let me share a short story of Walter, a retired mailman from Ohio. Walter always believed he just wasn't a morning person. He spent his first hour of the day in silence, moving slowly, sometimes feeling resentful of the sunlight pouring through the window. After learning about the Success Fuel routine from his daughter, he decided to try, just one step at a time. At first, it was just waking up 10 minutes earlier and sipping warm water. Then, a week later, he added deep breathing. Little by little, Walter felt the heaviness of his mornings lift. Now, he says, I start my days with a sense of calm and gratitude I never knew was possible. I may be 77, but for the first time in years, I look forward to sunrise. You deserve that same feeling every single day. Not because you need to prove anything or keep up with anyone else, but because your body, mind, and spirit are worthy of gentle care. The small steps you take each morning are not just routines. They are love letters to yourself, reminders that you are still growing, still valuable, and still full of potential. So as you close your eyes tonight, think about the kind of morning you'd like to greet. Know that it's never too late to start again, and that you don't have to change your whole life in one day. The smallest moments, 5 minutes of breathing, a grateful thought, a nourishing breakfast, add up to big strength. Little by little, day by day, you'll build mornings that fuel your best years yet. And if you stumble or forget, that's okay. Every sunrise is a brand new chance to try again. You're not alone on this journey, and you have everything you need to begin. Tomorrow, take just one gentle step, and let it be the start of something wonderful. John had never thought of himself as someone who needed a routine. Growing up in rural Iowa, he was the kind of man who got up with the sunrise out of necessity, not out of habit. There were cows to feed, fences to mend, and chores that wouldn't wait. Later, as life led him through decades of work and raising 3 kids, John's mornings were always a rush. Coffee gulped down between tying shoelaces, hurried goodbyes, and the scramble to get everyone out the door. He never paused to consider his own needs. He simply got on with life. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But time has a way of changing things. By the time John turned 70, life had slowed down in ways he hadn't expected. His children were grown and scattered across the country, the farmhouse was quiet, and the days seemed to blur together. Mornings, once full of purpose, became something to dread. John would wake before dawn, but instead of feeling refreshed, he felt like he was wading through molasses. His legs were stiff, his mind felt thick and foggy, and there were mornings he didn't see the point in leaving the warm cocoon of his sheets. Some days he'd shuffle into the kitchen, pour a cup of coffee, and sit at the table watching the sun rise, feeling both restless and exhausted at the same time. He tried to dismiss it as getting old, as so many people around him did. This is just how it is after 70, he'd say to friends at the hardware store or neighbors he bumped into at the post office. But deep down, the loss of energy, and truthfully, the loss of joy, was unsettling. He missed the sense of connection he used to have, not only with others, but with himself. One afternoon, while waiting for a prescription at the local pharmacy, John noticed a magazine with an article about Success Fuel Morning Routines for Seniors. The idea sounded almost laughable at first. How could a few gentle habits, like breathing, stretching, and sipping lemon water, make any real difference at his age? Still, curiosity got the best of him. He slipped the magazine into his shopping basket, promising himself he'd at least read it before tossing it aside. That evening, with the house quiet and dusk settling in, John sat down and read the article. The words struck a chord, not because they promised miracles, but because they spoke to the little aches, worries, and doubts he carried every morning. He decided to give it a try, if only for a week. What do I have to lose? He thought. The next morning, instead of rolling out of bed and immediately reaching for the coffee pot, John sat for a few minutes in the quiet. He closed his eyes and tried deep, slow breathing, just as the article described. At first, he felt a bit silly, but after a few breaths, he noticed the tension in his shoulders begin to ease. Then he stood up and stretched, rolling his shoulders and reaching his arms overhead. His joints creaked in protest, but the gentle movement felt surprisingly good. In the kitchen, he poured himself a warm glass of water, adding a wedge of lemon from a neighbor's tree. As he sipped, he glanced out the window at the pasture, watching the early sunlight glint off the dew. For the first time in ages, he found himself thinking about what he was grateful for. His old dog, Lucky, the laughter of his grandchildren during last summer's visit, the simple peace of the morning. He jotted these things down on a scrap of paper, feeling a sense of accomplishment that had nothing to do with chores or to-do lists. He finished the routine with a simple breakfast, scrambled eggs and a few slices of tomato from his garden. John didn't feel like a new man right away. The changes were subtle at first, a little more clarity, a bit less stiffness, but each morning, the routine got easier and more natural. He began to look forward to these moments, treating them as sacred rather than as tasks to complete. On days when he felt discouraged or tired, he told himself, just start with one step. Even if it was only 5 minutes of breathing, he could do that much. After a few weeks, John noticed that he was moving through his days with more energy. The fog in his mind was lifting, and even his appetite had improved. The most unexpected change, though, was in his spirit. He started calling his children more often, sharing stories and laughter the way he used to. His daughter, Emily, noticed the difference right away. "Dad, you sound lighter," she said during a weekend call. Happier. Motivated by his new sense of vitality, John decided to go for short walks with Lucky each afternoon. At first, he barely made it to the end of his driveway, but soon he was strolling down the lane, waving at neighbors and noticing the wildflowers blooming along the fence line. These walks became another part of his morning routine, something to look forward to, a reason to lace up his shoes and greet the day with a sense of purpose. One Sunday, as he sat on the porch watching a thunderstorm roll in, John realized he'd stopped dreading the mornings. Instead, he felt a sense of anticipation. "I never realized how important mornings could be," he thought to himself. "Now, I'm not just living longer, I'm living better." He shared his story at church, telling friends about the small changes that had made such a big difference. Some were skeptical, but a few decided to try the Success Fuel routine for themselves. John loved hearing their stories, how a few minutes of breathing or gratitude each morning had brought them energy, joy, or the courage to reconnect with loved ones. For John, the true magic wasn't in the stretches or the lemon water, but in the way he'd reclaimed his mornings, and in turn, his life. The routine became a gentle anchor, a daily reminder that he was worth taking care of, no matter his age. Years later, John's story is shared in senior centers and online communities across the country. His message is simple and heartfelt. You don't have to settle for tired mornings or lonely days. Even one small act of self-care can change your world. The first step is the hardest, but it's also the most powerful. John's mornings are no longer about enduring time. They are about welcoming life. His days are filled with laughter, gratitude, and connection. Proof that Sometimes, the smallest changes can lead to the biggest transformations. So if you find yourself where John once was, wishing for a brighter start to your day, doubting whether change is possible, remember his story. Your mornings and your life are still yours to shape. It's never too late to start living better, one gentle step at a time. As we come to the end of this story, I hope you can see that the smallest changes can often bring the greatest rewards, especially when it comes to how you begin your day. Your mornings aren't just the start of another set of hours. They're an invitation to nourish your body, wake up your mind, and open your heart to whatever the day may bring. No matter your age or your past routines, you still have the power to choose a kinder, more hopeful morning for yourself. You don't need to master every step at once, and you certainly don't have to be perfect. Just taking a little time for gentle breathing, moving your body, or noticing something good in your life can shift your whole outlook. Over days and weeks, these small acts build upon one another, adding up to stronger muscles, a clearer mind, and a renewed sense of purpose. More importantly, they remind you that your well-being still matters and that you deserve joy at any age. If you're hesitant, remember John's story. It's never too late to start, and the journey doesn't have to be lonely. Share your experience with friends, family, or even in the comments below. Each story creates a ripple of hope for someone else who may need it. So tonight, set your alarm just a little earlier, and tomorrow, give yourself those first moments as a gift. Let your mornings become the foundation for a brighter, more energetic, and more joyful life. After all, you've earned every sunrise, and the best may still be ahead.